Welcome back to the Eight Man Breakdowns podcast. This is where we discuss all phases of the game of football, including philosophy, play concepts, questions, and more. Today's topic is simplifying your formation calls. So I'm kind of just going to get into talking about simplifying your system, a few things you can do to kind of simplify your system. And today, focusing on formation calls. A lot of coaches say that, keep it simple, easily understandable for your kids. And I do think that it is very important to keep it simple. And that's what I'm going to get into is some ways that you can keep things simple, especially like formation calls wise. That way your kids can just hear the formation call, line up quickly, and then they're ready to get the play call. They can react and run the play. They don't have to think about where they're going to line up or if they're in the right spot. And when I say that, a lot of coaches say keep it simple. I think that some coaches overthink the simplicity, meaning I think that it can be extremely simple, but I think the kids are smart enough to know that even if it is simple, you can still do things a little bit more complex. All right, so formation calls. Some people have long formation names, some people have short. I would say I would prefer, if you're going to keep it simple or try to simplify it, have it no more than 1 or 2 word formation calls. For example, of a not necessarily a very good call, I would say it would be like ace right, split left, back right. I would say that's way too much of a call. And then that takes away time from actually calling the play. And then that causes overthinking. Overthinking by your players means slower reactions and less focusing on the game and just playing the game fast or full speed. So, in my opinion, you want to try to take away as much thinking as possible. Keep it simple. That way they can just go and play fast and understand exactly what they're doing every time. So prior to coming up with your formation calls, I would say it'd be beneficial to have personnel positions identified. I think most teams do this, but if you don't, I would definitely consider doing it. So what I mean is having an X, Y, Z, F, H, Q, obviously for quarterback, and T, tailback. So have your personnel positions identified. Make sure each position group and player knows what his position is. And then you can use rules in your formation calls to help them even more easily identify exactly where they need to line up. All right, so let's get into some actual simplifying formation calls here now. So when you're coming up with formation calls and you want it to be a 1 or 2 word formation call, I would choose a category. Anything, whatever category comes to mind or you think fits best, choose a category and then use letter and word associations. So some examples of categories you could choose from are like girl and boy names, countries, states, cities, NFL teams, or just any professional team for that matter. Harry Potter characters, cartoon characters, the list goes on and on. Okay, I mean, there's tons of things you can choose from, and I'll go through some examples now. Another thing is to use L&R words. So let's go with our NFL or professional team example for category of formation calls. So let's say you're going to choose and call your formations after NFL teams. So the LA Rams would be one example. So let's say Twins left is LA. So you have an L in it. And then the right side of LA Rams is Rams. So if you called Rams, it means Twins right. LA means Twins left. Makes sense? So an L&R word in that specific situation, talking about NFL teams, but just one word identifies which formation you're in and tells the guys where to go. All right, another example then with L&R words, we go back to Harry Potter characters. So Lily Potter, and that could kind of go into the girl and boy names too. But so Lily has an L in it, Potter has an R in it at the end. Wing left is Lily, wing right is Potter, or whatever the formation is. I'm just throwing out wing formation. Next, you go with the first letter being significant to your base formation call. So if you call your formations like typical formations such as ace, twins, empty, bunch, doubles, whatever. So if you used the first letter of your base formation call and then you used L&R words in it, this would be an example of the girl and boy name. So what I mean by that is, let me give you an example. So say you're running a spread formation or you want to run a spread offense and you want to use girl and boy names. So spread right could be Sarah for the S and the R. So spread right, Sarah. Or if you wanted to be spread left, Sally. So just an example there. Or even if you want to go another example for empty right, you could have Ezra. and then empty left be Ellen. So what I mean is have that first letter signify your base formation call, and then the L and the R tell your players which side they're on, left and right. And obviously you can have rules for, okay, if the Y is over here, the X is to the call side on the R and the Y is opposite, or the Z or the F back is opposite or in the slot or whatever. So lots of different things you can do, but I definitely think use letter and word associations, choose a category, use L and R words. That's going to help your players identify and recognize where to line up immediately. And then they don't even have to think. Then they just listen for the play call or watch the signal for the play call and then go and execute the play. So I do think that simplifying things within your offense is a big deal if you want to play fast and get your kids to not be distracted or not overthink things. And then they can just go play, react, and play on the field. So there's a couple ways that you can kind of simplify your formation calls. And that's going to do it for this episode of the 8-Man Breakdowns podcast. Remember, videos come out every Tuesday night, so be sure to tune in. If you have a question for me, the best way to reach me is by commenting in the comment section below. If you've learned anything or enjoyed any of these videos, please click subscribe and check out some of my other videos right here on the screen. And like always, thanks for tuning in, guys.